buddies. This is the Hallmarkies podcast, and we are so excited today to be bringing you our takes for the top 10 of Countdown to Christmas and Miracles of Christmas on Hallmark Channel and Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. It's been quite the marathon event of a season, and I'm Rachel, and I am joined by two great guests for this panel. First, I have Amy Lynn Craig.
Hey!
Yes. And our special first time on the podcast, we have Hallmark Hubby himself. Sam is here.
Hello, ladies.
Thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's so fun. Yeah. So tell us how you got into watching Hallmark movies.
Well, I got into them. So growing up, my mom always made it a must-watch that we watched all the Hallmark Hall of Fame movies.
Uh-huh.
And so I was introduced at a young age. But then the last few years, I realized I was watching way too much sports while my wife was in the other room watching her stuff.
Uh-huh.
And we decided that I love movies way more than she loves sports. So we went to Hallmark Channel. And since we got kids at home, it was something that we didn't have to pause or turn off whenever they walked through the room.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much how it took off for me.
That is so cute. Talk about relationship goals.
Yeah.
That's adorable. I like, well, I like movies. Just any movies better than she likes sports. She doesn't really just like sports.
Yeah.
It sounds like my parents.
So much.
I love it. That's awesome. So when did you start watching Hallmark movies regularly?
It wasn't last Christmas. It was the Christmas before.
Okay.
So
yeah.
2016 is really when I got into it.
Uh-huh.
And then, honestly, I didn't know that there was like a whole Hallmark Twitter family thing going on until last year.
Uh-huh.
Or, I'm sorry, 2017.
Right.
And that's what oh, well, crap, I need to get in on this.
Yeah.
This looks fun.
Yeah.
And
it's
I
abandonment.
was shocked that
it's quite the band
I was shocked that
going on here.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I am shocked that Hallmark Hubby wasn't taken.
Yeah.
So I kind of got lucky there.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's really good. I love it. I love your posts. I think they're so fun. They always make me laugh and really sweet. And so how do you followed 3 seasons now? How do you feel like this season stacked up as far as the Christmas slate? What did you think?
Ooh. You know what? Most of the movies were enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch everything live, which makes it more fun.
Right.
But they were enjoyable. But I guess just like every year, there's some movies that are great, and there's other movies. But no, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Amy, what about you? How do you think this season stacked up to previous years?
I don't know, because I feel like there were some things missing this year, like certain different, like there was a lot less magic and like certain like different tropes or themes that weren't shown as much this year. Even though there were 6 more movies than there were last year, so I was kind of like missing certain things. So.
Yeah, that's definitely true. There was way less whimsy this year.
Yeah,
pretty much the only whimsy that we got was Shoe Addicts. I mean, there wasn't anything else that had maybe a little bit in Christmas and Evergreen, but that's about it. And they just went the straight romantic comedy route.
Yeah.
So, and it's sort of interesting, and I hope they shake it up a little bit more next year. But yeah, I agree with you. There wasn't any that I wanted to die that were just like awful for me. Like there were the couple last year that was like, oh, this is even the 2 that I we're gonna list as my least favorite, just more like sort of irritated me. They weren't like awful, and so but then there were a lot on all the networks, to be honest, including Hallmark, that were just like completely disposable and forgettable. Like they weren't bad, but I'm not going to remember them in T-1 day. Like after we do this podcast, I'll probably forget.
Yeah.
A big group of that. And so, I in a way, I kind of like, I don't want to say like just absolutely horrible movies. Like, I don't want them to make horrible movies, obviously, but there is something sort of more memorable, especially for the podcast, like something like Wedding March 4, where like we were all just like, what is going on here?
I think I gave that a 0. Like,
like
that's how memorable that is.
Of like more memorable, you know what I mean, than just like blah movie.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing. So it was an interesting year, and so I'm excited to go over our list. So let's just dive in. We got our top 10 lists for the season, and I'm going to start with my number 10. I have Christmas Joy. And I have to admit, Christmas Joy is partly on here because I watched it with my mom, and it's one of the only ones I watched with family/friends this season, and we just had such a good time together watching it, which I think is a valid part of the whole experience of Hallmark. But also, I have to admit, too, that the podcast that we did with Elisa from Best Forevers, when we just got started on the insanity of the cookie crawl and just dying laughing. And this was one of those ones that I think just sort of leaned into the silliness. It was just ridiculous, and they just owned it and were funny. And I love Daniel Panabaker. And, I just love the fact that they ended up making like 300,000 cookies. Like, what? It was so bonkers. And the cookie crawl was just so ridiculous that it was fun for me. And so that's what I have at 10. So what do you have, Amy, at 10?
So my number 10 is Christmas at the Palace. I loved it so much. I loved the skating aspect. I thought it was so fun. The little girl won me over. It was such a cute movie. And I'm glad that it's Brittany Bristow. I'm saying that right? Yeah, Brittany Bristow kind of got a love interest finally. So it made me really happy.
Yeah. There were some things that irritated me about that movie, but that I did love the whole Brittany Bristow thing. Yeah, it was so cute.
She made that movie. Like, she really did.
Especially when he like takes her hand in the market or whatever, and she's like, "It's okay." That was so cute. I liked it.
It was so adorable.
Yeah. Very good pick. So, so Sam, what do you have at number 10?
So my number 10 is Reunited at Christmas.
That was my 11. Very close.
I
know.
But so I like Nikki DeLoach a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, she's amazing. But it's about grandma and reuniting with her family and trying to do all the Christmas traditions with grandma. Grandma passed, obviously, but it just made me happy.
Yeah.
And with my grandparents gone,
Yeah. Well, and
brought back a lot of memories.
That one was, I wanted to have it on my list because I really appreciated that it tried something new. Because, like, how often do we get a story in Hallmark where somebody is really struggling with the idea of getting married, and do they want to get married, and they just want to stay dating, I guess, for a long time. Like, I thought that was actually pretty interesting and pretty well done, and I thought they had pretty good chemistry. It just, I don't know. I just, the silliness of the cookie crawl just I debate it so much.
Oh, you guys are not going to like what I thought of that movie.
Oh, no.
Because it wasn't good.
Uh-oh. Yeah. So, very good. I like that we all have different picks. So, all right, let's do our number 9. And this ended up being surprisingly low for what it is. I bet you guys will have it higher. I have God Week's Christmas at number 9. I know it's shocking, but I really did enjoy it. I thought, of course, that Paul Campbell and Kimberly Sester were great, and it's true story, and it was so sweet, and I just really enjoyed it. And I don't know why it ended up at number 9. It just did. and it was, but I even thought Kathy the Gifford was fun. I just really liked it. So, and I hope they do more of the series, because there's lots in the books, the Godwin's books, there's lots of really cool stories that they could share and do little Hallmark movies of. So yeah, it was really cute. So Amy, what do you have at number 9?
Number 9, this is like kind of low, I think, but I have One Calls the Heart Christmas. Greatest Christmas Blessing. Yeah. It was super, super cute, but it definitely wasn't my favorite of all like the Christmas specials and everything. But I did really enjoy it. I just, like, my only downfall of it is it felt like a pilot for something else.
For the spinoff?
Yeah, that's what took it away from me. That's why it's not like higher. But I still loved it. It was really cute, and I want, like, Baby Jack is like my favorite thing ever now.
Yeah. It was really good. We didn't even realize that those women were in the spinoff. We didn't know going into it till we did our podcast, and Caroline informed us of that fact. We're like, oh, good. So that might have distracted me a little bit more if I'd known that. But I don't know. You'll see it's coming up on my list later on. So good pick. So Sam, what do you have at number 9?
I have Christmas at Grand Valley. I don't know who hired the kids, but they made that movie for me. They were so cute. And that one little boy, I mean, did he remind you of the kid from A Christmas Story?
Yeah. It was undeniable.
So cute.
It was so cute.
I loved it.
And that date,
plus
the date they go on, that was one of the best parts of the whole Countdown Christmas. It was so good.
When she says she worked on her hair for 30 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, I laughed out loud for that.
Because you don't get that many dates in Hallmark. Like, oddly enough, like, usually it's just like people working together, or, you know, they're not like going on a date. And that whole date sequence was just perfect. And to have a kiss at the end of the date, like, whoa. It was real. That's a good pick. That one's right in my close. Number 8 is Christmas Bells Are Ringing. And I went into this not expecting to love it. I don't know why. It just looked kind of generic. But I just really loved it. I mean, it made me love a Hallmark wedding, which I normally hate Hallmark weddings, because I hate bridezillas. I just feel like it's like an excuse to be selfish and terrible, because, weddings are stressful. No. This, like, it was like an excuse to be extra loving and kind. This wedding was just everyone was so nice and so thoughtful.
Yeah.
I loved anything involving the relationship between her and her stepmom. I thought that was just, and the wedding, it was so good. And even the little tour with moving the snowman was so cute. And I know, I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was like, it was very formulaic, but I thought it executed it all really well. And I really enjoyed it. Even the ending with the Santa on the boat and the bell ringers. I was like, yes, this is great. That's my number 8. What about you, Amy, for your number 8?
Okay, so my number 8 is Christmas Joy, because the cookie crawl is amazing and the most awesome thing on the planet. And, like, the whole thing was kind of ridiculous, but it was the best thing ever because they made so many cookies. And, it was
so good. Like, I love how they were, like casting shade upon the neighbors' cookie crawl with the chocolate chips.
She's making chocolate chip cookies? Like, that's a disgrace or something. Like, it was great.
And I swear there were chocolate chip cookies, like, right there when they said that. It was so funny to me. And, it was great. I love the cookie crawl.
I was like, what type of cookies are you making then that are so crazy, like, better than chocolate chip? Like,
right. They had, like, I mean, and all those cookies that they were making were for just that one house. It wasn't even for the whole cookie crawl. It was just for that one stop.
I'm like, how many people live in this town?
They got the whole state of South Carolina coming to. It was so fun. I do think that this season started stronger than it did. That, like, I was, for the first, like, maybe even through Thanksgiving. I was like, this is going to be amazing. And then there were like 2 weeks where it was like, oh, particularly there was one weekend where I didn't like a single movie the whole weekend. And so we reviewed, me and Casey, we reviewed Christmas Perfection because I was just like, I don't want to be grumpy goose the whole episode. Because I love it so much. So anyway, Sam, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is A Shoe Addict's Christmas.
Oh,
just
so good.
So funny. Gene Smart in that movie was just hilarious. And, of course, my wife has a crush on Luke McFarlane, so, seeing her smile is always a good thing. But just so funny.
Yeah, very good choice. Much higher up on my list, so. Very good. All right, so my number 7 is Christmas in Evergreen, Letters to Santa. So this one is just like Christmas insanity. Christmas, and just like the best cast to ever exist. You've got Andrew Francis, Jill Wagner, Holly Robinson Peete, like the list, Barbara Niven's in it, like the list just keeps going. And I liked all of those sort of the little romances, and I liked the bigger romance. And I liked the fact that like it wasn't just about their romance, but he had to like deal with a relationship with his dad and some of the issues that they had. I liked that. I thought that I liked the fact that her and Andrew Francis were just sort of friends. That like that was kind of a unique relationship. And I mean, yeah, like the shenanigans with redoing the store were ridiculous, but I was fine with that. I didn't mind that at all. And they had a couple of the most epic near kisses that were hilarious. It was like, wow. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. So Amy, what do you have at number 7?
I have a question. Does Midnight Kiss count?
Yep.
Okay. Then my number 7 is A Midnight Kiss. I think I got to live tweet this one too, and I think that Adeline Kane and Carlos Penavega had they're either amazing actors or they have such good chemistry. And throughout the movie they built, like, I could feel the relationship and like the tension building. Yeah. And I don't feel that in a lot of Hallmark movies where like you could tell like there was a little flirty period and then a little bit like to the end where like there's literally fireworks when they kiss. And I just ended up really, really loving it, and I wasn't expecting to love it because I'm like, oh, it's kind of like the last one, people forget about it. But no, it ended up being so good. It had an amazing cast. Ava was great in it too, and it was just adorable. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought that it was good. I think that both the Penavegas did their own movies this year because I think they were both able to shine. Because I thought that he was really the star of that movie as opposed to the female lead, usually the star in Hallmark. I felt like Carlos was the lead, the true lead, and he was very charismatic. I agree with you. Oh, yeah. He did a good job. So very good. So Sam, what do you have at number 7?
So I have Northern Lights of Christmas for number 7.
Yep.
Another great movie. I mean, but the whole reindeer escaping and they can't figure out how or why, I thought that was funny. And I got to know, if you own a reindeer and it interrupts a airline or an airport, do they really get fined, the owners?
Yes.
I got to look that up. Really?
If there is something that is blocking an air, like it's like a federal thing, like you will get a fine. So like if your car, like your boat or something is on an airway, you can get a fine.
The only thing that would have made the whole reindeer, because that was absolutely adorable, loved that, if they had been Santa's reindeer.
Yes,
that would have been
better.
Yeah. That honestly, I thought that's the way it was going.
Yeah.
But I have an uncle who used to own a farm in Idaho, and his horses used to get out, and he'd get fines all the time because there was a small airport near him, and the horses would somehow end up on the airstrip. And like it was only like cargo planes, like packages and stuff, so like it wasn't as bad as if it was a passenger plane, but
yeah. That's funny. Yeah, that really took me a while to warm up to. I was really like, oh, the first 30 minutes, I'm like, this is so slow to me. And I felt like he was such a jerk. Like, what is his problem? Like, why can't he be more supportive when her uncle did this thing to help her to get the plane? Like, that's why he gave it to her. I don't know. He was just being such a grump. But something happened.
That is true.
Something happened where all of a sudden I kind of got won over to it. I think it was really when they did the lights on those. They did that. The whole tree lighting outside sequence was very well done. And I think the reindeer was so cute. And the final kiss in that movie was great. It was so and Ashley, she's just a delight. So
she has reindeer experience. That's
right, because of Santa
snow.
Yeah. So a good pick, very good pick. All right, so we're at number 6. So my number 6 is probably going to be the only one to have it. I have Last Vermont Christmas. I really connected with this movie. I thought that I really felt like I could relate to the whole family, even to the like little things. They have this like cooking competition. My family, one of the most iconic things we ever did in my family was have these big cooking competitions where we would spend the whole summer literally planning these things and planning these menus. And it was a very, very positive experience and a very memorable experience. And then like, just the way that they interacted as siblings, I really related to, and I felt like I could sort of pick each one of my siblings, especially my sisters, in with this family, and so that's why I connected with it. And I thought that Erin Cahill was so good. I've just grown to really love her this season, in this, and then also in Hometown Christmas on Lifetime. That she's great in that, and I just really like her. I think she's really good. I thought she had pretty good chemistry, and there were some nice moments, like when she was in the carriage, like talking about how hard it was for her to be open again, to this experience after being hurt. I don't know. I just found it really satisfying, and I really related to the family, and I liked them as a couple. So that's what I have at number 6 is Last Vermont Christmas. What about you, Amy?
I have A Shoe Addict's Christmas because it's Candace Cameron did so good. Jean Smart did amazing, and it was like so whimsical, and so like it was like kind of the only like magic kind of based movie really, right. And it just made me so happy. Also, the shoes were all fantastic. Let me say, as a shoe connoisseur, I was extremely happy with all the shoes.
Yeah, it was so fun. Very good pick. All right, Sam, what's your number 6?
I have Christmas in Evergreen, Letters to Santa.
Yeah, good pick.
I mean, there's just so many storylines in that movie. I mean, and it's not just focused on them. I mean, you got the mystery with the key and what does it go to, and then whenever the bells started ringing, like everybody like kind of perked up and listened, and it was a good moment. I really liked it.
There's like so much Christmas in I almost even forget about the keys. There's the keys, and then there was that red truck is just so amazing.
Right?
Yeah. So very good pick. All right, so we're at number 5 already. Wow. So my number 5 is When Calls the Heart, The Greatest Christmas Blessing. This might be my favorite episode or anything I've seen of When Calls the Heart. I'm not sure. Like, it's been so long since I've seen the other Christmas. It's certainly an improvement over last year, in my opinion, as far as, and I maybe because some of the choices they made last season left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't think it was handled very well. And I don't know. I just thought that this was so well executed. I enjoyed all the plot. Having Gowan read to little Millie was the cutest thing I've ever seen. I liked pretty much even the Bill subplot was fun with him making that pudding. And I liked Clara and Jesse going to the Nutcracker. That was cute.
was just like, how do you not know the Nutcracker's a ballet? Okay, sorry. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. These are woodsy, small town people here, Amy.
I know, but if she asked to go, like she talked about it, shouldn't she have said some point like dancing or something? So he would have like was he paying attention when she talked about it?
Probably not. No. This is Jesse we're talking about here. Man, a few words. But I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. I thought that it just was I liked all the singing in it, the orphans singing, and it was very Christmassy, and I thought it was very well done. So I have that at number 5. Amy, what do you have at 5?
At number 5, I have A Godwink Christmas.
Very nice.
I really enjoyed the story, and Paul Campbell and Kimberly Seston did an amazing job. I think they have an amazing chemistry.
Yeah.
And I like the story so much, and I just thought that it was funny because in the story it felt so much like, okay, we're going here, and then we're gonna go back we're gonna go and we're gonna flop back and forth, like so much to the 2 different places wherever they were. And also I love that because Giles Panton was in it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And
he's my favorite like wrong boyfriend.
Well, yeah, and he just was the king of Christmas this year. Like, unbelievable. 5 movies in one Christmas. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a jerk in all of them. One, he was a super jerk. But then the rest, he was a pretty nice guy. But anyway, number 5.
So at number 5, I have Road to Christmas.
Oh, so good.
It really was. Well, I mean, I'm a fan of One Tree Hill, so that was pretty cool. You know, even though he didn't get to be in the reunion movie a lifetime, but whatever. But my favorite part is whenever the brother, I forget his name, where he stands up in the sleigh and he does the Merry Christmas, the old farmhouse from like It's a Wonderful Life. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, it was funny, and I'm glad that they got the tension really out of the way early, and it became like a road trip. You know, figuring it out. That was pretty good. So
that was so good. Even though they have no idea what a white elephant gift exchange is, it was still really good.
Exactly. Your mom's the queen of Christmas and you don't know what a white elephant is.
Yeah. Like, what is going on here? So very good. All right. So my number 4 is It's Christmas Eve. And I just thought that Tyler Hynes and Leanne Rimes had such great chemistry. I thought he is just, between this and Falling for You, he is just, I'm in love with him. He has won me over. He is so sexy and so great. And I don't know, like, aside from the fact that her job was just like, I don't understand it. Like, why is she a traveling superintendent? What is that? Aside from that, everything else was really I really liked all of the moments, the cute moments, and I liked her getting that the rest of her song from her dad written for her, and her having that like that was done really well, I think. And I don't know, it's just a really cute little Christmas movie. I like the fact that the script was very meta and was sort of commenting on meet cutes and rom-com tropes and stuff like that. Was really fun. Tracy did a great job with that script. And so that's what I have at number 4. So what about you, Amy?
For my number 4, I have A Veteran's Christmas. I just adored it. I thought that, well, first off, like all of my top 10, the 2 main, the actor and actress that were the main leads did amazing together. They had such cute chemistry. It was so cute that the family was getting so involved and like, oh, this is a single woman and she's a veteran and, maybe you should, pay more attention. Also, the dogs made that movie. Definitely when Christmas, the dog showed up at the end, I was there. My eyes were there was so many tears. It was a river. Like,
Yeah. That one was a little, even for Hallmark, it was a little too cheesy for me, but I totally get all those moments were really cute. I liked both dogs. They were so adorable.
I'm a major sap when it comes to Labradors. So
yeah, very cute. I can see why. All right. What about you? What about you, Sam? What's your next pick?
So number 4, I have A God Wink Christmas. And quite honestly, I had no idea that Kathie Lee Gifford was an actress. I thought she was just the talk show host.
Yeah.
I mean, calling me stupid, I don't know, but I thought she was great as the aunt. And of course, Paul Campbell, he's one of my favorites. And he did wonderful. And then the little sound effect, the little bling that they would do every time something was getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cute. And the fact that it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
You know, it was beautiful. I really liked it.
It was really good. Very good. All right. So my number 3, we're in our final 3. This is so exciting. My number 3 is A Majestic Christmas. And going into this, I thought it looked super lame. Like, oh, these people going back to this country, and it just looked lame. But I thought, first of all, it started out absolutely hilarious. I was dying laughing with her, like stealing from, like him thinking she was stealing from Santa was hilarious. I really liked that. And then I don't know, I just felt like their relationship grew very organically. I like the fact that both of them were like business, like appropriate to each other, you know, like they're like she was like, well, I'm hired to do this job. I may not agree with what your choices is, but I'm still going to do it like a responsible person. You know, like there was a little bit at the end where he was being a brat, but it was so short that I didn't mind it. And even then she sold it when she was up in her room, like crying. I was like, this could be so obnoxious in so many other, but she was great. And just like they nailed certain scenes. Like I loved the dancing outside, was so good. It was like really like choreographed, like this is dancing. It was so romantic. I thought I loved that. And like I loved Crazy Brett, I think his name was. Like it was like insane. That was hilarious.
It was Barry. It was Barry.
Oh, Barry. Barry. That's right.
I watched that one yesterday.
Barry was so funny. I wanted to just die laughing. And I thought they were both so great. And I thought that her parents were great. And I thought it was very romantic. And I just really liked it. So that's what I have at 3. What about you, Amy?
For number 3, I have Small Town Christmas. And this movie so much related like to my family life. And Christopher Polaha, I always thought there was something about him, but when I saw him in this movie, he reminded me so much of my father. Like so much, because this is the same story as my dad's life. My dad was in college and there was a child, his sister's son, which is I consider him my older brother, but so like it's very similar to what happened in my family, and with my dad. And Christopher Polaha reminded me so much of my father that this movie, it made me cry, and it just reminded me of so much. And I'm hoping for a sequel, because it just reminded me of, you know, my dad taking care of, I consider him my older brother, even though he's technically my cousin, taking care of my older brother, and then my mom coming into the fold and you know, helping to take care of him and everything like that. And then I came along and I had my parents, and I had this cool older brother, even though he calls my parents uncle and aunt, but to me he's my older brother and I'm his baby sister. And it's just it was so much like my family, minus the bookstore. But it made me very emotional, and it was amazing to me.
That is really cool. I love that. It's kind of like me in Last Vermont. So like the flaws that other people saw, I didn't see, because I was just connecting with it on an emotional level. Very good. I really enjoyed Small Town Christmas too. I thought in his attempt to sort of channel Jimmy Stewart, I thought totally worked. He was great. And I loved like the little, the way he categorized his bookstore was hilarious. Like that was my favorite. So funny. It was charming. I think that's a very, very good pick.
How tall is Christopher Palaha? Anybody know?
I think like super tall.
Yeah, because it seems like he has to hunch over in every scene. It just looks uncomfortable. But I love him.
That's why he works well with
he's so
Jill
tall.
Wagner, is because Jill's very tall too.
She's very tall, but she's still in heels. Like
6'2". He's 6'2". He seems taller than that.
Yeah, he really does.
But maybe just the Hallmark women are very short. I don't know. But according to the internet, that's how tall he is.
Who asked him that though? I'm wondering, like, what did he put that on a resume or something, or like did someone ask, how tall are you?
Jill Wagner is, no, you can just look it up. You just look up actress tall. Jill Wagner tall, it says 5'8". She's 5'8".
She's pretty tall.
Yeah,
but like, how does that get on the internet? Does someone go up and measure them? Like,
yeah. See, like if he did a movie with Candace, he'd be in trouble because she's 5'2". She's a foot shorter than he is. Anyway.
Yeah, but you see the heels she wears?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
But that was a really good pick. All right, Sam, what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is A Veteran's Christmas.
Oh, good.
I relate to it, you know. One, I love dogs. I have my Merlin around here somewhere. He's hiding from me. But then, you know, my son's in the Air Force, and I worry, you know, as soon as he gets out, is he going to have the same feeling like he's lost, kind of like her, but then she found her way. And, I'm just, you know, I worry about him, and that makes me think of him and what's going to happen after he leaves the military, and it just really connected with me. I really loved it.
Yeah, it was such a sweet movie. Just very, very sweet. So I can see why.
I mean, he smiled a lot in that movie. He was really happy in that movie.
And they had, you can tell they worked together before, the couple, Eloise and Sean, because they just had such good chemistry. It was very effortless.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say, because they were in that Christmas
with the Holly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And they were good in that movie too.
Yeah.
But
very, very good. Very good. All right. So my number 2 and my number 1 and number 2, I both gave perfect scores to. So it's like, how do you even decide? Like, one of my rare, I only gave out 4 perfect scores this year in total. And so my number 2 is Two Addicts Christmas. I loved this. I thought not only all the things we've already said, how funny, Jean Smart is a treasure. The shoes were so fun. All that, Luke McFarlane is Dreamboat. All that is true. But I also think that the overall message of the movie was really great. I loved the idea of her going back through different key choices in her life and her seeing how she could have taken a risk and she failed to take the risk, and what sort of the repercussions of not taking that risk were. And so that when she's kind of coming back to regular life, she says she has the chance to say, okay, I'm not just going to be doing this blah life where she's just sort of settled for this job and settled for not going to dinner with Luke at the beginning of the movie, or not getting together with her dad, or she just kind of settled for how things are. And instead she's going to take leaps of faith. She's going to try things. She's going to step out of her comfort zone. That was, to me, the main message of the movie. And I thought it was really sweet, and I really enjoyed it, in addition to all those other good things. So I just thought, this is how it's done. This is what a Hallmark movie is. And so, yeah, I have it at number 2. So, Amy, what do you have at number 2?
My number 2 is Road to Christmas. Oh. I absolutely loved this movie. The brothers made it. Like, the brothers were such a great part of this movie. I loved the road trip aspect, and that, like, she was picking up those brothers and taking them with her, and just at the end. And I want a sequel. I want a sequel so bad. because it was just awesome. And I feel like every year it can just be like the three brothers and her in random situations throughout the country, and like throughout each movie they can add like a girlfriend for each brother or something to add in, and it just
I think that's a great idea. I'm totally for a sequel. I loved it. So very good choice. All right, Sam, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Christmas Everlasting. Yeah, so I've had a huge crush on Tatiana Ali since The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and seeing her in a Hallmark movie was like, Hallmark's gift to me. And just the fact, I was crying in the first 10 minutes. I'm a man, so I'm secure in my masculinity to say I cried during that movie. I mean, her reaction when she hears about her sister, and then going back and realizing all the stuff she missed and who is Maeve, and so there's a mystery there, and it just, it touched me. And then whenever her sister's friends finally took her in and decided to change the name of the knitting group, and it was good. I just enjoyed it.
Tatiana Lee was I thought she did a great job with those emotional moments, like when she is feeling guilty for when she admits that she didn't want to see Robert, whatever his name was, she didn't want to see him anymore because she reminded her of the fact that them being together caused this accident for her sister, and how she felt all this guilt about that, and I thought those moments really worked, and there were a lot of really funky moments in the movie, like really silly, that I loved. Like the whole that ice hut was just the best. I want to be in that ice hut, the ice fishing hut. That was really fun.
Well, you took the time to decorate that for Christmas.
Yeah, he even had like a full Christmas tree. It was great.
Yeah.
That's good. And that was definitely the most, like, it's such a Hallmark version of a lawyer to be like, how is he a lawyer? Like, he spent all of his time at the ice rink and then at the ice hut, and he's like, what's going on? But he was great. Yeah, and I also loved the real estate guy there, with his like feet on the desk, and he's like the most over the top villain.
Such a jerk.
Yeah. Like, I think they need to have a movie just to switch things up. They need to have a Hallmark movie with a well-meaning community activist condo designer. It's like they're like, help everybody out.
Who's the villain in that story though?
Yeah, you'd have to, like, the well-meaning condo designer would have to have like some horrible boss. I think that's a horrible boss who like wanted them to, I don't know, maybe be kind of like Kiss at Pine Lake, where he works for you can get Brendan Elliott to come back and reprise his role from Kiss at Pine Lake. Because have you ever seen Kiss at Pine Lake, Sam?
That's a summer camp, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love Brendan Elliott in that movie. He like comes out in the forest and he's like, what are all these trees? He's so funny. But anyway, I think it can be done. I challenge all my Hallmark writer friends. Make a well-meaning, kind condo developer. It will be great. But good pick. All right. So we're at our number ones. This is very exciting. Drum roll. All right. My number one.
I can't do a drum roll.
My number one is Road to Christmas. We've already talked about it a lot. But what I appreciated the most about this movie is that, like, a lot of times in Christmas movies, not just Hallmark movies, but Christmas movies, you have dysfunctional families that are very over-the-top dysfunctional. Like something like The Family Stone, where people are like, there's a lot of slapstick and there's all these shenanigans, and that can be fun. I don't have a problem with that. But I really related to the type of dysfunction that they showed in this family. Like the fact that they just sort of they just didn't communicate well. They lost touch with each other. And they all loved each other, but they were just super different. They had a hard time communicating with each other because they're so different, but you still love each other. And because I can relate to that a lot. And I thought pretty much, I mean, that emotion at the end when she sees all of her sons again, that was totally worked. It's like a bonkers Hallmark movie where people are excited to work over Christmas. Like, what is going on?
Right.
I kept saying that I feel like, that the assistant that she has at the beginning of the movie, we need to have the Hallmark movie about her and about how her boss is making her work on Christmas. That would be great. But I love Jessie Schramm. I think she's so great. I don't think she's made a terrible Hallmark movie yet. I think hers are usually really good. And I thought that I really liked the kiss. Like it was, like his mom is like right there filming. She's like, goes for it.
She bangs the pot.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Mom's just kind of like, that was great. And I don't know, I really loved it. I loved all of the brothers were amazing. And there's some diversity and a maybe gay character. Like as close as we got, which is very exciting. I don't know. I just loved it. I thought it was just very well done. Zach Hug did a great job with that script, and I'm very excited that he's in the Hallmark family and to see what he'll do in upcoming films. And so that's my number one. So Amy, big moment. What's your number one?
My number one is It's Christmas Eve.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my goodness. I think Tyler Hynes has won everyone's heart at this point. With he did 2 fantastic movies this year, and just the story, it just made my heart so happy. I don't know why. And Leanne Rimes was fantastic. I didn't even know she was a great acting in it, and it made me happy.
It was so good.
Is that a good review?
No, it's so good. I agree. And his daughter, I loved her. I had huge hair envy of hers, first of all, but she was great.
Oh, yeah.
And I just loved it. It was a very good pick. Very good.
Little girl, oh, by the way, you're going to sing with Leanne Rimes. Little girl. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I liked the fact that there were so many different singers. She could have just been the huge singing hog, but she wasn't. And I liked the mayor's son when he got up there. He's super nervous to sing, and then he gets up there. I forget, he had a weird name, but he gets up there and he sings, and he totally did great. It was amazing. And and Giles Panton is in that.
Oh, he's in that one too.
Yeah. See?
Oh my gosh, that man. Jeez.
Yeah.
He needs a break. He needs a vacation.
Yeah. So, all right, Sam, big moment. What's your number one?
My number one is Once Upon a Christmas Miracle.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody had that in their list because it's a sweet movie.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the edge of tearing up the entire movie, and and it's another based on a true story. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I just really liked it. I watched it again today. It's the 3rd time I've watched it.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's oh, you don't owe me anything, and she doesn't know how to pay him back, and well, they get married, so
this is a big payback.
So I guess you're gonna be paying him back a lot, hey, I made your dinner.
Yeah, it was very sweet. Did you get to see that, Amy?
Yes, I did. I cried like a baby the whole time.
Yeah, right.
Very good. Well, let's go over our picks, and then we'll each give our 2 that we weren't as crazy about, and I'll explain why. So my list is Christmas Joy at number 10, Christmas Bells Are Ringing at 9, Christmas in Evergreen, Letters to Santa at 8, Last Vermont Christmas at 7, When Calls the Heart, The Greatest Christmas Blessing at 6, I have It's Christmas Eve at 5, Majestic Christmas at 4, let's see, did I skip one? Oh, sorry. It's Christmas Eve at 4, and then Majestic Christmas at 3, and then Shoe Addicts Christmas at 2, and The Road to Christmas at 1. So, Amy, what's your list?
So I have Christmas at the Palace at 10, When Calls the Heart, The Greatest Christmas Blessing at 9, Christmas Joy at 8, A Midnight Kiss at 7, A Shoe Addict's Christmas at 6, A Godwinks Christmas at 5, A Veteran's Christmas as number 4, Small Town Christmas as number 3, Road to Christmas as number 2, and It's Christmas Eve at number 1.
Very good. All right, Sam, what's your list? Again.
Number 10, Reunited at Christmas. Number 9 was Christmas at Grand Valley. 8, Shoe Addicts Christmas. Number 7, Northern Lights of Christmas. Number 6, Christmas in Evergreen, Letters to Santa. Number 5 was Road to Christmas. Number 4, Godwinks Christmas. Number 3, A Veteran's Christmas. 2, Christmas Everlasting. And number 1, Once Upon a Christmas Miracle.
Very good. All right. Well, so there were my 2 lowest rated. There was only one that I truly disliked, and I think Amy really liked this movie, so we're probably going to fight. But
It's okay.
I did not like Return to Christmas Creek. I didn't like any of the family drama. I thought it was really just contrived, and just I didn't like it. I felt like the whole resolution of it, like the fact supposedly these people are going to be able to work together now, like, was ridiculous. Like, forget it. The whole idea that like he didn't recognize her when he has like her whole room made up and like ready, and he's waiting for her, was weird. At first I was like, is he blind? Like, I thought maybe his character was blind. It was so weird. And then I thought the movie was super judgmental towards her character, especially, most of it was just at the very beginning, but it really turned me off from the whole film. The fact that, like, they're so like, turn up their noses at her app, when, like, the whole thing that we get in Christmas movies is that, like, we're too commercialized. We're spending too much time, like, over commercializing Christmas. Here's an app that's literally trying to save you from that commercialization and make it easier for you. Like, yeah, it probably is bonkers and wouldn't work in real life, but like, if you just accept it for it actually could exist, then like it's actually a really, like, they were treating it like she wasn't very Christmassy, when in fact she's actually very Christmassy. Like, she's actually like trying to take away some of that commercialization. So that irritated me. And then the way that, like, it really annoyed me because her family celebrated Christmas early, but she did celebrate Christmas with her parents. She did. And like, there's nothing wrong with celebrating Christmas. You don't have to celebrate it on the day. Like, there's nothing. And the whole, like, especially her assistant at work was like turning up their nose at her. Like, how could you go to Turks and Caicos? What is wrong with you, you horrible person? And I'm like, oh my gosh, she literally had their tradition with the smorgasbord, whatever that they do. She was with her parents. There was a tree. She was celebrating Christmas. Like, she's not anti-Christmas at all. And it really irritated me the way I felt the movie was super judgmental of her character. And I'm like, she's not a bad person. She's like actually a really good person. And yeah, so that irritated me. And so I just didn't like the movie. There were some cute moments between her and Stephen Huszar that kind of made it better, but that's why I didn't like it. So
see, I took that as when people were freaking out, like, oh, you're going to be in Turks and Caicos. I took that as they thought, like, wait, you're going to be alone on Christmas. I didn't think that as, like, oh, you're traveling at Christmas.
Because even her boyfriend breaks up with her, and it's like, why didn't you have this conversation months before when you're buying the tickets and planning? And this is something she's done 4 or 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's some just, I don't know. So I was just like, stop being so, but my feeling was like, stop being so judgy about how different people celebrate Christmas. Like, people can celebrate it however they want, as long as they're celebrating it. That's the important thing. And and maybe it just sort of, it hit home to me because I always celebrate Christmas early with my parents.
Mhm.
That's like literally me, except for I don't get to go to Turks and Caicos. And so I don't know. I felt maybe like the movie was specifically criticizing me and how I celebrate Christmas. I'm like, forget you, movie. Because my parents are usually out of town because they're visiting one of my other siblings, and which they were this year, and so we celebrated actually the beginning of Christmas, the beginning of December, and it doesn't matter as long as you celebrate it. It's fine. So anyway, but that's why the movie rubbed me the wrong way. But it wasn't like, it didn't take me to like dark place like Perfect Christmas Present last year. It wasn't awful. I didn't hate it. But it was just irritating. So, but anyway, that's my least favorite. And then I guess my second least favorite was Memories of Christmas, just because it was so bland. Thought it was bland. I thought Christine Milian was good, but everybody else in the story and just, I thought it was the most bland. So
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah,
so.
That's right.
Yep.
So bland. But Amy, what were the two that you didn't care for?
Okay, so my bottom one is, and I don't even know if I consider this but Christmas on Honeysuckle Lane. That movie, I could not keep my eyes open. Like, it was so, like, I felt like it was so sad, and not in like a message type of way. It was just sad, and I kept falling asleep, and I wasn't tired. It was like noon, okay? And I was falling asleep, and even my mom was like, this is so dull. Is this done yet? Like, and it had a good cast, though, but I was like, I don't get it. Like, I just can't do this anymore. So, yeah, it's just, I couldn't finish it. Or, we finished it. We didn't see pieces in the middle, but it was, yeah. So then my second one was Reunited at Christmas. I really, I watched it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And I wanted to like it so much because I know you guys interviewed the writer. But I just couldn't stand her character. I just couldn't. I was like, girl, you guys have been together for a year and marriage hasn't come up. Like,
well, it had come up.
Relationship is this? Like,
I think it had come up, but they had just come to an agreement that they weren't going to get married. And so he thought, oh, she's going to be delighted by the surprise, whereas like she obviously wasn't a person for surprise.
It was a communication error then, because she thought like, oh, this isn't happening, and he's like, oh yeah, we're getting married. Like, I was like, what? And also I'm like, you guys are adults.
Yeah,
like,
the fact that they, especially with her parents being divorced, like the fact that she was like pretending to her family, that was bonkers.
Yeah,
that was bonkers.
Like, why are you doing that?
But I just
also like the Christmas star. I was like, oh wow, we have to find Grandma's Christmas star. Or was that the star, or was it the recipe? I can't remember. Was it both?
It was the star. Yeah, it was the star. Yeah.
I was like, okay, wow, the star is missing, and oh my goodness, I maybe I don't have a heart or whatever. I was just like, this is so dull and boring, and people just need to talk to each other. Okay, yeah. Anyways,
yeah, I can see that. I can. I appreciated that they were trying something different. So maybe I gave it a little more than
My thing is, I feel like these actors are a little bit older, and what happened with their relationship is something I'd expect from someone my age in their 20s, not someone who's gone through life a little bit more. Yeah. Does that make sense?
That's an interesting point. I can see that.
I'd expect one of my friends this to happen to. Be like, they've been together for a year. Oh, let's get married. We're still in college. What is going on? Not... Yeah. You guys are in your 30s, like you should have communication kind of figured out a little bit more than someone who's in their 21. So yeah,
that's a fair point. I mean, for somebody who's approaching 38 very rapidly and single, I probably would be like, let's wait longer to get married. I probably wouldn't, but hey, everyone's different. Interesting. So, Sam, what do you have? Which ones did work for you?
Okay. Now, I'm not going to say these were horrible movies.
Right.
But they didn't sit well with me. So the first one was the Blake Shelton movie, Time for Me to Come Home for Christmas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
First off, so I know Heath is a huge superstar country singer or whatever.
Right.
But you're telling me the guy can't order a plane ticket? I mean, what did he do before he became a country star? I mean,
he never flew.
Upset. He's upset because he has to sit and coach. It's ridiculous. But then they finally get to her house, and they're having their financial issues with the nut butter company, and she wants to do the candy bars, all that kind of stuff. And so Heath, who happens to be there while they're, the dad and the daughter are airing out their dirty laundry.
Yeah, that part was the worst.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I would like to invest in your company. And it's not even like, hey, I'll give you a loan, or here, just take the money. It's, I would like to invest. And she turns around like, I thought you had faith in me.
Yeah, how dare
Get out
you?
of my house. Yeah. I mean, you're evil. How dare you want to save our company and invest with us? I was like, oh.
And
so that was cringeworthy.
It's saving your business by candy bar sales is the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Your last name is Hershey's and you're going to be able to do this? Like, are you crazy? Like, what?
Yeah.
Why don't you just invest in cola while you're at it? That's
right. It's like, oh, we're gonna have to fire so many people because we got to bring in automated machines. But I'm not gonna take your money and save their job.
Yeah. And you didn't even need the conflict. That was the thing about that movie.
No.
Like, you didn't need that conflict. Like, literally just the weather. That was all the conflict you needed. I mean, that movie, it won me over because I did think all the little stops along the way were super cute. I loved that family in Joplin was so adorable. And I loved that couple, the Roamers. They were so fun.
Yeah.
And so each of the stops along the way, and I thought they had pretty good chemistry. So I enjoyed it, but I can totally, I thought that part was like blah. So I can see it. Did you have another that was not your favorite?
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is another one. It was a good movie up until this part. But Christmas in Love.
Okay.
So, first off, I'm excited. It takes place in Missouri, and that's where I was born and raised. Like, finally, a Missouri movie.
Yeah.
So I'm all excited. But then, so she's making the wreath, makes, I forget what the character name, and people are going to hate me because this is the Daniel Listing movie.
It doesn't matter to me, but Daniel and Brooke.
Yeah. So she makes him a wreath, and she drops by his cabin.
That was a cringe.
Yeah. So he's not there, but the door's open for some reason, and she bumps it open. So I know there's crime in Missouri, so leaving the door open or whatever is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And so she decides, hello, no one's here. I'm going to walk in anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So she walks in, puts the wreath down, all nice and sweet, bumps his laptop, and then sees the plan for the company to go automated. He's already decided, that he made a huge mistake. But no, she's going to look at this. She's going to go and tell her dad, and they're going to tell everybody at the company, And he walks in and is like, oh, crap. She was here and she saw the plans. I need to go, write this. I got to go correct this error. He gets to his house, and the dad's like, she doesn't want to talk to you, so you just need to leave, get out, type of thing. And he's like, I just want to tell her what's going on.
Yeah.
And so he leaves. And then finally, he's getting the cold shoulder. People are booing him. And he's like, oh, great. So he has to go up on stage because that's the only way to get everybody to listen to him.
Right.
He gets up there, tells him his plan. All of a sudden, everybody's cheering. And the biggest thing that irked me the most is not one person apologized for being an a-hole to him.
Right.
The girl never came up.
Of course not.
And said, oh, my gosh, I am so sorry. I saw your plans, and I should have just went to you and communicated. The dad never came. The dad comes up, and he's like, hey, you did good here, kid. Like, what?
Right.
You just kicked him out of your house.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can treat you can treat a bad man of business as badly as you want. Like, they are steeped in business and they need to be reformed. And so therefore, I agree. I mean, I did like the Kringles. Maybe it was just, this was the season of Kringles. You know, they were mentioned 2 or 3 other movies. And I got to try a Kringle. It was very exciting. I got one from my friend Cynthia for her Christmas, and I'm like, oh, so almond flavored. It was delicious. So, that one, and the idea that she's gonna make her big break on the wreath is ridiculous. But
and then she doesn't put on a hair cover whenever she goes in. She's making him get all this stuff on, the hair wig, and she walks in with her hair hanging down to her, the middle of her back. And then the fact people treated him like crap, not realizing, oh, this guy's going to be our boss. Maybe an apology would be nice.
Yeah. I get it. I didn't hate it. It was one in the middle for me, but I totally, that was a very cringy scene when she sees the thing on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But,
how many Hallmark movies can be solved by someone just asking a question?
Yeah.
Like,
all of
honestly. Like...
Yeah.
You ask one question and get an answer and talk to the person, and it's all good.
Yeah.
And we can have the kiss 20 minutes earlier.
That's why I like something like In a Majestic. They had that whole like, how dare you kind of thing, which was annoying, but it was so short. It was like, boom, we're done. And he admitted like he was acting like a jerk. And so, it's like, that's the way to deal with it. If you're going to have that kind of liar reveal, like, you have to do it kind of like that, I think, to make it work. Otherwise, like, the thing I didn't like about Christmas at Grand Valley was the whole like, oh, is she going to, like, the whole conflict was so dumb. Like, if she can like have her, they've just started dating, like, you're just barely like starting to date, like, you can go do your exhibit and then like keep dating and then like, you're not married. Like, what? Oh, it was so dumb to me. But anyway, but I did really enjoy, like I said, the date. I enjoyed it overall. But those are certainly some good stinkers, or less good movies. Okay. Well, before we go, we'll end on a high note, because I did poll all of our listeners as far as what their favorites were, and we got lots and lots of responses from, and almost every single movie was on somebody's top 5. It was kind of amazing. And so there's something for everybody at Hallmark. That's what's exciting. And
I want to say this year I saw the biggest variety of people liking different things.
Yeah.
Based on like the 2 previous years I've seen. I saw there was a little bit of something for everything for everyone this year.
Yeah. And like I said, there wasn't anything that I wanted to die that was just like so terrible. And so I totally see why every single one of these movies had fans. Totally do. And so we had all different kinds of responses from all over. And what I did was I gave, I made a chart, and I gave 5 points for if it was listed as number 1 on their list, 4 points for 2, 3 points for 3, 2 points for 4, 1 point for 5, right? And so then I calculated we had total of 69 different submissions. And so I totaled them all up, and like I said, almost every single film was mentioned. And the top 5 from our fans of Hallmarkies podcast, we have at number 5, we have It's Christmas Eve. Number 4, we have Small Town Christmas. And then at number 3, we have The Shoe Addict's Christmas. Number 2, we have Mingle All the Way. And a pretty resounding number 1 is Road to Christmas. Yay!
Yes!
Yeah.
So there you go. That's from all of you. So let us know what you guys think. Which ones did you not like? Which ones did you like? What are you surprised by our list? let us know in the comment section or on Twitter. We would love to hear. And we had a lot of fun covering this season. And we're ready to dive into Winterfest already. By the time this airs, we've already had a Winterfest movie already air, which is amazing. So,
oh my goodness.
So we're excited. And we hope you guys enjoyed our preview of Winterfest with Greg McBride and Hallmark. I was just in stitches. Like I was like just trying to like on my on my mission, we used to say this thing called quiet dignity, and so you wanted to behave like with quiet dignity. And I'm just like, it's so I just got in this habit of saying quiet dignity, and the whole time he's just making me laugh so hard that I'm like quiet dignity, because I just was trying to keep it together because he was so funny. And I supposed to be leading this podcast. And so he was just the best. And he's such a wonderful person. And Emma was great. It was really fun. One of my favorites. And hope you enjoyed our interview with Lori Stark from A Very Hallmark Christmas podcast that aired on Monday. She is so fun, so much fun. And it was so much fun to get to talk to her. And thank you guys so much for joining me to talk about these and make your lists. And I really appreciate it. And it's so fun to get to meet you and talk with you, Sam. And where can people find you on Twitter and all that?
I'm Hallmark Hubby at Hallmark Hubby, I think. I really don't know.
Yeah, Twitter.
I mean, just type in Hallmark Hubby and hopefully I'm there somewhere.
Make sure you're following. I will have the link in the description to his Twitter, so you can check that out. And Amy, how can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at It's Amy Craig, and then on YouTube, youtube.com/WeekendAllStars. And you guys really should go subscribe because I am going to Utah to meet Rachel and Amber next week. And there's going to be daily vlogs, and it's going to be fun. So if you want to see us meet for the first time and be extremely weird and probably weird out my friends that are coming with me, please subscribe. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be epic. I cannot wait. So, yeah, that's happening. And so lots of fun stuff. And hope you all had a great Christmas. And, one last time, we get to say Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! Happy New Year!
Merry Christmas!